Hi, I'm Carly,
And I'm Michelle.
and we are your Northwest Arkansas Regional Mentoring Specialist. Welcome to Inspiration After the Bell, the podcast where we
Share stories
strategies.
and sparks of inspiration to help educators like you make a difference in the classroom every day.
Today, we are so excited because we have a very special guest joining us, Meggi. Meggi is a community health promotion specialist here in Arkansas and is housed at the co-op.
Welcome to the show, Meggi. Can you start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself and your journey to becoming a community health specialist?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. My community health journey, specifically school-based community health, has been a little different than most. My first degree and career were in respiratory therapy. This is where I primarily worked as a NICU respiratory therapist. During this time, I spent a lot of time educating patient families and building close relationships and really leaned into being an Arkansan. I realized the best part of my job was the patient education piece of it, where I felt like I was truly making the most difference. This led me to wanting to go back to school to help bolster the future of Arkansans through behavioral and community health outreach. I truly have always loved working with kids since I was a camp counselor at the YMCA starting when I was 15. And I've always felt like it was my job to be the positive influence in a child's life. So I received my master's degree in public health, specifically with a concentration in community and behavioral health.
Meggi, I love how your story came full circle from helping families in the NICU to supporting communities through health and education. You can really tell how much you care about making a difference. So what does a typical day look like for you now?
That's a great question. So my days vary depending on what I'm doing or where I'm at. There are kind of two parts to my job. My job now is with the Arkansas Department of Health, where my focus is on teaching a wide range of public health topics in the classroom. The other part of my job is working with wellness committee members at the district level to help schools achieve wellness goals and fill out the school health index. Some days I'm doing a healthy relationships lesson all day in a high school health class. Other days I might be teaching elementary age students how to brush their teeth, or sometimes playing physical activity games with all ages, kindergarten through 12th grade, or some of the topics I will teach are focused more on mental health, such as eating disorders, suicide awareness, or distress tolerance, all of which come from the Arkansas Aware team. So it tends to change depending on the age level or topic, but most of my days are spent at a school in a classroom.
That sounds like such powerful work you're doing. So you mentioned that you go into the high schools and you talk about healthy relationships. Could you talk a little bit more on how that connects to the counseling or the mental health supports that schools already have in place?
Yes, of course. A lot of the topics I cover, specifically for the 9th through 12th graders, are more serious. When I am talking about a mental health topic or about healthy and abusive relationships, I always try to link them with the school counselors or social workers beforehand. I found that sometimes students feel more comfortable disclosing something to me since I'm not their main teacher, and it can be hard disclosing information to someone you see every single day. So I always make sure to follow up with them with following up with mental health resources, both at the school as well as in the community. I do mention local resources before even starting a lesson.
Great approach, Meggi. I love how you connect your work to the resources each campus already has. If a school wants to learn more or bring your program to their campus, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, the best way to contact me is through email, which is meggi.augustosky@arkansas.gov.
I will add your email address to our show notes. That way our listeners can contact you.
So, Meggi, you mentioned that mental health is a topic of conversation when you go into schools. And I know as a classroom teacher, I didn't always make time for myself. So as educators who feel stretched really thin, what's some advice you might give them on how they can take care of themselves so they can still be the best teacher?
Right. I can definitely relate to feeling stretched thin, especially during the end of a semester when I'm feeling overwhelmed. I try to do things I know will calm me down. So this is going to be different for everyone. For me, that usually looks like setting an alarm to take an hour-long break from prep work, going for a run, or during the school day, it might be making a list and checking things off of it so I stay focused. Sometimes too, if I'm sick, I'll just let the students know I'm not, so that way I'm not as hard on myself, or maybe not being as high energy, or maybe not being as present as I would like to be. I've noticed that being honest about feeling sick or sometimes even run down or tired almost humanizes you to your students, and they are more responsive that day. Other things I do outside of work that would be to help with feeling stretched thin or making time for myself would be meal prepping on Sunday for my week. So I feel like I'm in more control when I'm home. And also, so I have more time to do things like I really want to do, like scrolling through Instagram.
Yes.
One last thing, I also do recognize that it's hard to carry the weight of all your students on your back, so to speak. So I know that if a student discloses information to me after a heavy topic, for me personally, I'm going to be thinking about it for a very long time. So something I've found that has helped is talking to someone like a therapist about it and listing off ways that you were a positive influence that day or that week in either that student's life or another student's life. At the end of the day, it's just about being kind to yourself and others.
Meggi, that's so true. As teachers, we tend to carry all the things, and that can just be overwhelming. So I love that you gave them practical ways that they can take care of themselves. We know that your support is invaluable for students and educators, and we can't thank you enough for the amazing work that you're doing.
Meggi, thanks so much for sharing your insight today. I'm sure our listeners can walk away with some ideas on how to support their own well-being.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Inspiration After the Bell. We hope you're walking away with fresh ideas, renewed energy, and a little extra inspiration to bring into your classroom tomorrow.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find links and resources from today's episode in our show notes.
Thanks for all you do every day after the bell and beyond. We'll see you next time.